Welcome to Spike Sports. Today we'll be talking about Ohio State and Ryan Day.
So the first thing we want to talk about is he is 1 for 3 against Michigan all time, and he's 0 for his last 3, which is unacceptable in my opinion as an Ohio State fan growing up in Ohio, which all these guys can understand. That is it's the toughest pill to swallow in my opinion, losing to that team, and especially when we owned them the last decade or two, and just for us to go down like 0 in our last 3 is just not really good. I'm just not taking it well. I don't know if these guys are as well, but it's just very tough in my household as well. So also to go off that, Ryan Day is 1 for 6 against ranked teams. So basically, he needs to be gone, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys have anything.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of James Franklin at Penn State and just can't win any big games. When it comes to the big games and when you've got a winning atmosphere at Ohio State where you expect the playoffs every year, you've got to be winning those big games, and it just doesn't come easily for Ryan Day.
I also feel like he needs to give the bigger players the opportunity that they need because they will perform every single time.
Like Marvin Harrison Jr., for example.
Give him the ball almost like every other play.
And I think the other thing he doesn't really understand is, like, sometimes it's not about plays, it's about players. Like, if you can get the ball to your best player consistently, you just gotta, in my opinion, you gotta get it creative with him. Like, if I were to have Marvin, and I would be a coach, which I have no experience, but if I were to have there was this high school team called Fairless. They had a running back where they used him everywhere. He would throw the ball, he'd run the ball, he'd catch the ball. Like, they used him in every way they could. They went far in the playoffs every year because of him. Like, if we could do that with a stud, like, I don't understand, like, you just got to have creativity in your offense. And it's either stretch to the right or stretch to the boundary. That's what he keeps doing that. So, McCord as well, we want to talk about him because he kind of struggled in the game against Michigan. During the season, he looked pretty good. That's mainly because he didn't have any pressure on him, which the Michigan game is the biggest game of the year. Notre Dame, he played pretty good. I'll give him that. But let's be honest, Notre Dame was not a very good football team this year.
Going off of Michigan being the biggest game of the year, you think that will be, like, even if we made the national championship, you think that would still be a bigger game?
I mean, in my opinion, I think that's the biggest game he's going to play in.
Energy-wise, probably.
That's probably the biggest game he's going to play in. And if we get in somehow, I mean, we're 6 right now, so we're going to have some help. Washington has to beat Oregon, right? I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Washington has to beat Oregon, Georgia has to beat Bama, and then Florida State has to get upset by Louisville. But that's a very doable case because Florida State's quarterback, right?
Yeah, Jordan Travis is out, and I think their chances are about 50% right now.
Yeah, 100%.
To make the playoffs.
Losing him is big.
I mean, that's just gonna they're done in my opinion. Like, if they get in the playoffs, that's good for them, I guess, but they're not gonna win a game. So we also want to talk more about the game. There was multiple times in that game where we punted the ball, and the punt was the biggest difference in my opinion. Whenever they punted it, we were pinned inside 15 or something like that, and literally our first punt of the game went to like the 41 or something like that. Like, they already had great field position. I think we got to stop the first possession. But the next possession, McCord threw a pick or something like that. That was not on our defense whatsoever. We punted the ball again. They got great field position. Like, it was all about the field position. We had no field position all game, and we gave them every yard that they could possibly get. So, for our special teams to be bad like they were, that's another thing. Like, Ryan Day's got to be all over that. Like, if you're going to have a punter, like, when he was punting, he wasn't even following through. Like, he was just getting rid of it. Like, you got to just blast that thing. And that's another thing. Like, last year in the Georgia game, when there was that 4th and 1 scenario where we multiple times, or Michigan, we faked it actually. And we were, it was 4th and 1 against Georgia, or 4th and 1 against Michigan. And Georgia knew that was coming because we ran against Michigan. And, like, literally Michigan was tweeting that. Like, they, like, trying to get Georgia to look at it or something like that. So, I mean, you just got to be smart in situations, and you also just have to be, like, locked in special teams. Special teams can win and lose you games.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. At the end of the half, we missed that kick, and it would have definitely helped us in the end when we were down by 3 and Michigan. Michigan was up by 3 and they were driving and they were just wasting the clock because they knew they had the lead.
Mm-hmm.
But if we made that field goal, it would have been 27-27 and the game would have played a lot differently if we had made that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And then, like, the last possession, like, McCord, well, obviously he threw a pick earlier in the game, but, like, the last possession, I mean, you got to just know, you either got to spike it at Travion's feet, he was down on the left side, or you got to just throw it away. The two things you could not do there was take a sack and throw a pick, and he threw a pick, and that was the ball game. So, we also were talking earlier, just before this whole thing, there's been so many wasted talent that Ryan Day has had, and I think that's just another thing to add on why he should be gone. Like, we had Justin Fields, who was probably the best quarterback at the time in college football, not when Burrow was there, obviously, and then we had Stroud, and we had Marvin Harrison, like, all those guys, Olave, the list can go on. Like, all those guys were just, I mean, I wasted, to be honest.
Yeah.
Never won a big game. The one game, who did we beat? Was it Notre Dame? Is that the top?
Last year.
No, this year.
Yeah.
That was our top.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Maybe Penn State.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's so hard to like continue to be like a diehard Ohio State fan when all this is happening and Ryan Day's still there. I don't know. Like last year, if you guys watched the Ryan Day why he should have been gone, we were saying last year he should have been gone, and like just to prove my point even more from last year. It's the same thing. We're just having the same conversation over again. And if Ohio State's athletic director doesn't see that, then I don't know.
We need to bring back Urban Meyer. He'll win us games.
100%.
He'll turn it around.
I loved Urban Meyer. He was definitely one of the best coaches we've ever had. I mean, we were talking about this earlier too. Ohio State, first year he was there, it was 2012. He went 12-0, weren't allowed in the championship due to like Pryor or whatever. He did something. And then, because I think he was like selling his jerseys, autographing or something. But Urban Meyer went 12-0 in his first season. The next year we lost one game, and it was in the Big Ten Championship to Michigan State. And then the year after that, we won the national championship. And then the year after that, we got upset by Michigan State. Should have won that, to be fair. But we gave Zeke 2 carries in the second half, like you were saying. I mean, it's just the biggest thing's coaching. So if Ryan Day wants his job, he's got to like show me something because I'm not convinced. These guys aren't convinced. So. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I don't know. You guys anything else?
No, not really.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to the morale and the atmosphere there. And with Ryan Day, when you compare him to Urban Meyer, it's just not the same. And that's not going to help you with recruiting. It's not going to help you win games.
Nope.
It's just, there needs to be a change. I don't know where that is. Probably Ryan Day, but...
I mean, if Ryan, like you were saying earlier too, like if Ryan Day could just be on the staff, that's a good thing. Like, because he does know what he's doing for the most part, but I just don't think he's a head coach.
No. I don't feel like he pushes a leadership role that he needs to.
And, like, he is, in my opinion, a tiny bit arrogant at times, like against Notre Dame, for example, when he was, like, saying all that, which I get. Like, you're fired up and you just won a big game. But, like, if he would have beat Michigan, you never would have heard the end of it because that's just the type of person he is. And Urban Meyer never said a freaking word. All he did was get his guys hyped up in the locker room. That's all that was about. So, anything else, guys?
No.
Nope.
All right, that will pretty much wrap up this video for Spike Sports. Hope you guys enjoyed. This was Ohio State's our opinions on Ohio State, and we're going to do some more videos in the future. And hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.